Roan, it's nice to meet you.
Man, it's nice to meet you too.
Well, I'm Catherine with the Rom-Com Love podcast, and we are loving Hope Valley 1874. So I'd love to start with what drew you to the role of Olivia, and then how is she like you, and how are you guys different?
Ooh, okay. So I was immediately so excited to play Olivia because I think I've never gone this far back in time in terms of a period piece. I've done a couple period pieces, but they've all kind of existed within the 20th century. So this is so to go back to a far more kind of rugged, rustic time was really exciting to me. I also loved the idea of getting to be the apex of a love triangle because I in 2025 played two characters who were involved in a love triangle but were not the apex and did not get chosen in
Mm,
both scenarios. So so I was like, I think I need a win. Um, so that was exciting
love it.
to me. And then I would say that Olivia and I are similar in the sense that we're both a little type B. We're both kind of dreamy and romantic. But I would say that we're different in the sense that we're also both we've got very close mother-daughter relationships, and we're both very creative as well. And now that I say all that, I'm like, I don't know, how are we different? I think that we're different in the sense that I'm definitely a little bit more, maybe I'm a little bit more of a skeptic, maybe. I think Olivia's pretty like, Olivia always sees the best in people, whereas I feel like got a lot of Scorpio in my chart. I'm always watching and kind of like perceiving.
Yeah.
Wheels are always turning, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I think that that's maybe where we're a little different.
Well, and I definitely would say that, a lot of it kind of goes to the time period too, where, we have a lot more in our back pocket of what we get to learn about people than what you would
Yeah,
be able to learn about in 1874.
totally.
So,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think that I think it's definitely the modern world jades us a little bit or whatever. But I also am like I am pretty like I'm pretty I'm also an optimist for sure, like Olivia. So there's that aspect of it too. Yeah.
well, I have to say, speaking of life, love triangle, I've been talking to one of my male friends who's a watcher, and he and I both agree that the woodworking scene was one of the hottest scenes of season one. So,
Gosh, thank you. I am glad so.
But as we know, her heart's going to be torn here with two different guys. And so, what is it do you think that draws Olivia to each of these men? And then, what's been a favorite thing about working so closely with Jedediah and Lachlan?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think that I could go on forever about the two of them. I love them so much. But I would say that what draws her to Clayton is the common ground they share. They both have lived in the settlement for a really long time. They have a strong basis of friendship. And so then when it kind of starts to become clear to her that he has feelings for her, because I think she's a little oblivious at the beginning, um, she I think that she understands that there's a really deep shared commonality in their creativity and the ways in which they collaborate, and that he understands her desire to create because he's the same way. And he is more upfront about his feelings, which I think can be appealing. I think on the
Mhm.
flip side, Alexander represents kind of more of an opposites attract type dynamic, which I think is also really appealing. And she has a very immediate attraction to him. There's like a very immediate spark there for her. And he's from the big city, which is something that really deeply intrigues her. And yeah, he's very passionate about his work, and he's very serious about his work, and she's very passionate about her work, so they share that. And he's very supportive of her, like Clayton is, but in a very different way, where he's giving her very material opportunity to pursue her passions, and is very supportive of her, her pursuing art to the fullest extent that she can. And so I think that there's that aspect of it as well. And like I say, it's that kind of like it's the unfamiliar versus the familiar. And then
Totally.
my favorite things about working with both of them is that they're so different, but I
Mhm.
have grown to love both of them so much. I'm literally going for dinner with them tonight. Um,
Fun.
but yeah, no, they're the best. But yeah, like Jed is so funny, and he feels like an older brother to me. Like he's such a goofball, but when it comes down to it, he gives such good advice, and he's such um, a deep feeler and thinker, and just like a really ride or die trustworthy friend. And
Mhm.
Lachlan is the same but different. He's like, he is such a good listener and he's so thoughtful and kind and he makes all of it so easy. And he's so dry and witty in his own way. And yeah, they're both just like, I really lucked out. I couldn't have asked for two better love interests on this show. They make it so easy and they're both just so wonderful.
Well, the audience is definitely torn. As it's a Jam and Oak, we're always like, okay, well, based off of that, and don't get me wrong, I love myself a Mountie, but
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I'm so drawn because Clayton is so, so sweet, and you can't go wrong either way. So it'll be an
Mhm.
adventure to see how this goes.
Totally. Yeah.
So let's end on you also get to work so closely with Jill. So she is so grounded, natural, just effortless in everything. So what was
Right.
your reaction to finding out she was going to play your mom? And then what has been your favorite scene together?
Oh, I mean, she's an icon. I
Mhm.
I I knew of her before we worked together, and I was just so excited because I love working with like people who are seasoned and so good at what they do because it makes my job easier too. If you're working with somebody who's so grounded and so like comfortable in the character, you kind of just follow suit.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I was so excited. I also knew that she was a musician, and that really excited me because I loved music. And we were in the green room playing guitar together, showing each other music, singing together. We had so much fun doing that. I hope that we get to like incorporate that at some point during the show because we just have really bonded on music and our shared love of it. And my favorite scene to do with her was definitely the scene where, well, gosh, I mean, it's so hard to choose because like any scene that the two of us have together where we get to kind of like lean into the more emotional sides of their relationship is my favorite. But I would say of those, my favorite is the one where Olivia shows her the drawing that she did of her and was able to kind of give her the reassurance that she won't be forgotten and that Hattie has been there for her whole life, and now Olivia kind of gets to be there for Hattie in reciprocity.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And you're right, that is exactly what that seed was, and so beautifully done. So, yeah, and I will just, as I'm leaving, I'm going to say that I loved how Jill was playing with Hattie, kind of just this tour, like looking at Olivia with the love triangle, and then
Yeah.
just kind of, she had those looks, and she's just brilliant with it. It's so
Oh
much
my
fun to
gosh,
watch.
she's the best. I lucked out so hard. I flew all the way to New York to see her last concert of her residency because I
I
love
love
her.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for spending this time with me, and can't wait and our fingers are crossed for season two.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Yeah, fingers crossed. We'd love to
Yes.
do it all again.